Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into OpenIndiana Hipster, a community-driven distribution based on Illumos operating system. If you have ever been curious about its history, how it relates to Solaris OS, or how to perform basic administration tasks like managing accounts, software, and ZFS, then this video is for you. So grab your coffee and let's get started. OpenIndiana Hipster is a free and open source Unix-like operating system built on the Illumos kernel. It is designed for servers, desktops, and developer environments, continuing the legacy of some microsystems Solaris OS. When Oracle discontinued OpenSolaris in 2010, the Illumos project emerged as a community-driven fork of OpenSolaris. OpenIndiana in turn was born as an Illumos-based distribution, providing a user-friendly environment with features familiar to Solaris users. Now let's quickly prepare for the installation of OpenIndiana Hipster. You can go and open the official website of openindiana.org and you can see their documentation, package repositories. So for now, we need to go for download, and you can find directly that there is how to install OpenIndiana, how to upgrade, and we will try to cover these here. And you can see now here, download the current hipster snapshot of OpenIndiana. You have live DVD and you have image to be burned on the flash drive, USB drive. So in that case, you need to download this one for live DVD and text text install DVD if you are going to burn it on normal DVD. But by the way, still on Linux, you can burn this one for DVD on a flash drive on a USB. Okay. And the difference between live DVD and text install DVD, this one will be in GUI, completely fully in GUI. Like you will be logged into live running OS, so you can test before installing. And here the text install, it's command line text install. The same looks like a FreeBSD installer. Okay, so you can go and download the suitable image for you. If you are on Windows and you want to create a bootable USB drive, you can use Rufus or you can use Balena Etcher. And of course, next. So nothing to need to be explained here. If you are on Linux, so as we said before, you will do ls blk to check your devices and make sure that you are choosing the USB device. Don't mistakenly or by mistake to overwrite any of your existing drives. And here the command dd rescue-f-d, the path of the image and the path of the flash drive or of the USB. So now get ready and we will continue with the installation. In my case, I'm going to install it on a virtual machine KVM on my main desktop. So now let's quickly cover the installation, and it's no big difference between OpenIndiana installation and FreeBSD because both of them are Unix. So in my case, I configured the VM using KVM QEMU. And one thing, make sure that you, after the creation, you add more input mouse, USB mouse. Okay, like after the creation, you go here, input, and make sure to add a hardware USB mouse, because inside the machine with OpenIndiana, maybe your mouse scroll not working. So let's fire up the system, and the installation is straightforward. So now we have the booting screen for OpenIndiana. We can simply hit enter and wait for the bootloader to load in the memory. After that, it will ask us for the language. You may choose the number according to your language. Simply here I will keep it default for English, and I hit enter. And now the live system is loaded. Maybe the GUI is a little bit the resolution. Okay, we can come here and system preferences, hardware, display, and you may play with it just to adjust the GUI for now. And this is how OpenIndiana looks like in GUI. The installation, this one device driver utility, you may use it later after the installation to check your hardware compatibility, and you may also here, let's open a new window and we go to Open Indiana, and you may see here for your hardware compatibility list. You need to check this, especially if you are going to install OpenIndiana on a physical hardware. Okay. So simply we can go here on the icon and install OpenIndiana. Gives you two options, text or GUI. I will go with the GUI, double click, and it will open the installer. I will hit next. And according to the case, now I'm using a virtual machine, so I will use whole disk. And then I will press next. Here you can choose your time zone and the clock. I will press next. And here the language for the keyboard, I will leave it default. And next. Here, put your root password because you will use it later. And you create a username and a password. Okay. And here you can put a host name for your system. Next. And then that's all you need to give an input for OpenIndiana for the installer of OpenIndiana to continue installation the operating system. And then you hit install. I will be back after the installation finish. So now once the installation finished, it will bring you to the finished window. All you need to do is hit reboot. So we will let the system to reboot, and we will be back when the system gets rebooted and to log into a fresh installed OpenIndiana Hipster. Now, after the system is rebooted, after the installation, I just press down or up arrow keys just to stop on this booting window, and make sure to read one boot multi-user enter to boot normally for your operating system with the GUI. If you want to boot in a single user mode, press 2. Escape to loader prompt. For reboot, configure boot option, you press 5. Select boot environment, you select 6. Before rebooting, I just want to show you guys back in time this one called OK prompt. It's somehow like BIOS on Intel and AMD system based. So this OK prompt is very famous with Spark servers. Back in time, it used to be Solaris servers. Now it's Oracle Sun servers, Intel based or Spark based processor. So if you want to get informations about the available commands here, you can press question mark and press enter. Some of them, they will not give you any output because they are designed to work on a specific hardware. Here we are in a virtual environment, so it might not work. So for an example, badm is for boot environment administration. If I just press enter, it will show me a small help for this command. If I write list, it will give me a list of the booting available environment. It is somehow like this boot environment is like snapshot in PTRFS, that you can boot from a snapshot of your operating system. So let's continue booting and show how the system looks like. And here the system, because it's booting for the first time, it's doing loading for the services on the operating system. We will come to that later. And now the login prompt for our system. Let's enter the username we created. And by the way, you can log in directly using root, but no need for that. Username and password, and let's wait for the login. And now we have OpenIndiana Hipster installed on our machine or virtual machine. Let's change the display resolution here and press apply. For some of you might experience this. If I press, the menu will not stay. You have to press and continue pressing to make the menu continuing appearing, and then you move with your mouse, and when you come to the value that you want, you just release your hand to choose it, okay, like that, and then press apply and keep the configuration. Okay, let's increase here. So now this is our terminal, and as you can see, it's a GUI, mate GUI or mate, whatever the pronouns you prefer. And you can check the pre-installed apps for the operating system, comes preloaded with the operating system. And here places, it looks like an old GUI for Ubuntu. Um, and also you have a control center that you can change whatever you want to adjust here on your system. Okay, so let's continue with the basic administration for our operating system, OpenIndiana Hipster. So now let's take a few moments. I just entered the full screen mode from my virtual machine, and I changed the terminal color. In order to do that, you can go Profile Preferences. Here you can remove the text from this, use the system fixed with font, and you choose the font you want and the size. Here the title for the terminal. Colors, I remove the text from here and I put custom, and I changed this one to Tango. Background, if you want to give your terminal a background. Scrolling, I ticked here this option unlimited to make my terminal unlimited if I want to see an output like 1000 line before. The other thing I noticed that sudo comes configured out of the box. The only thing difference is that you have to enter your password every time you are using sudo, which is good. But for me, it is my own machine, okay? So I would like to change that. So I will log in as root, and I will enter password, and I will run the command vi sudo. I press enter. I will go down, and I can see here my username. So I will add here all. So I will add here no pass wd. Okay, and I escape and I save the file and I hit enter. Let's open a new terminal and test that no password will be asked for. Yeah, so it is done. The other thing also I noticed, if you try to use the command su to switch to root, which is something normal on Unix, because it exists before sudo, if I press enter and I will enter the password for root, it will ask me for a new password because the root password has expired. If I put the same password, it will tell me that it is the same password, change it. So in order to do that, I can use sudo to change my root password. So here, passwd root, make sure that you mention that you are going to change the password for root. And I will give the same password. It's like I'm reinforcing it. So it seems like it's an installer configuration that once you log into the system will ask you to change your root password as a security layer. So let's try this here again. and I will enter the password. So now it is not asking me for the password anymore. One of the good things also I noticed about OpenIndiana OS that the ZSFS, ZSH, sorry, the Z shell, it's coming supported out of the box also. Like if you run ZSH, immediately after you installing OpenIndiana and press enter, you start taking you to interactive script, and here you can see that one continue to main menu, Q for quit, 0 for exit. So let's check the menu. I pressed 1 and now here configure settings for history, command lines remembered and saved by shell recommended. Okay, 1. So now another choices, number of lines history 1000, file where history is saved 3, number of lines of history to save history. Okay, let's choose number 1. Here you can put the number of lines of history to be kept within the shell. So I like 1 million. Okay. So 2, yeah, save it in hist file, or like Linux, I will make it to be save in history. And yeah, it should be, let's change it again because I just remember that this is hist file, this is ZSH, so it will overwrite the history of bash, so we don't want to do that. And here number of lines of history to save in the variable hist file, so let's change that and add 1 million. Okay, and after you finish, remember edits and return to main menu 0. So to configure the new completion system recommended, to turn on completion with the default option, run configuration tool, comp install. You can also run this from the command line with the following commands, auto load. So it gives you an instruction to, so 1, to turn on the completion system, and 3, configure how keys behave when editing command line. Now you guys got the idea, so I will just exit saving the new settings. I will hit 0, and now it took me directly to the sh shell. If in order to continue using it in when you log in, you need to change it for user name, because if I open another shell, it's still using the bash born again shell. Here it just took me directly to ZSH. But the good thing is, if you are in shell and you want just in the session that you are using, you can write ZSH and hit enter, and it will not ask you again why, because this file has been created. ZSHRC, this is where the configuration saved. Let's cat it, and you can see the configuration here. If you want to go through this configuration menu again, just remove this file and it will take you again to this list of configuration. If you are comfortable with the default bare minimum of ZSH, okay, before you run ZSH, you can do touch.zsh, and that's it, to create empty file with .zshrc. Okay, if you don't want to see this configuration menu again. So after that all have been said, let's move forward with a basic administration on your OpenIndiana OS. The first thing I would like to talk about here, and it will be like a small introduction because it's a big subject and it needs video by its own. Uh, Profiles and role in Solaris-based Unix operating systems like OpenIndiana. Uh, these two, profiles and roles, are two fundamental concepts in the role-based access control RBAC mechanism. These two fundamental concepts introduced in Solaris 10, they provide a flexible and a granular way to manage user privileges and access to system resources. So in brief, a profile is a collection of privileges, rights, and attributes that define a specific set of actions a user or role can perform. Uh, for the role, a role is the logical entity that represents a set of responsibilities or job functions within an organization. Roles are used to assign a specific set of privileges and attributes to a user or group of users. Rules can be customized to fit an organization's needs and can be used like for delegate administrative tasks, implement list privilege access, and so on. So let's put it in a different way, like key differences between profiles and roles. Profiles are collections of privileges, while roles are logical entities that represent job functions or responsibilities. Two, profiles are used to grant privileges, while roles are used to assign a set of privileges and attributes to a user or a group. Okay, so profiles to grant and rule to assign a set of privileges. Okay, so it's a profile, you can consider it as the privileges that when you assign it to a user, what he can do. So to group these, you can put it in a role. Okay, so the role now, the one will be assigned, and also you can assign a profile. Okay, so as I said, this is a big topic and it needs a video by its own, but I have to mention it because these two uh, based Solaris OS Unix like OpenIndiana, they are not using SU and sudo only. Okay, so their security framework, it's really one of the best. Uh, so let's continue with that. So just quickly to show what we are talking about, the user I logged in with, if I run the command roles, okay, I have the role of root. Why? Because this is the first user has been created while the installation. Okay, so this is my role as a root. I am a root on this machine. One of the things that I can do, that I'm able to use sudo. Okay, what kind of privileges that this role of root I have? So you run the command profiles. It will show you the profiles that assigned to you. Okay, so these privileges that you can suspend to RAM, suspend to disk, desktop removal, media user, brightness, CPU power management. Okay, so this is these two. If you guys would like me to make video about them, please leave a comment in the comment section below under the video. Uh, so now these two, you have to keep it in mind because it's one of the important things on Unix when it comes to Solaris. If you are in enterprise or using open source like OpenIndiana, there is the other one, Illumos kernel also is called I think OmniOS. So anyway, so let's continue with our basic administration for this operating system. Managing user accounts in OpenIndiana is a simple and powerful. Also, the same apply to Solaris or any OS based on Solaris Unix operating system. So let's start with ID. Okay, command ID-A. Here you can see the first thing. Let's take it an example. By default, the username has a new ID 101, but the group ID is in staff. So let's make it like Linux. So let's move to B root and let's add a group with the name, let's give the number, the GID is 101, and the name penguin. Okay, so now I want to change the default group for this user. You use user mode dash G penguin penguin. The first one for the group name, the second one for the username, and penguin is in use. Yeah, because we logged in with the user, so it will not be able to change it right now. If you know what you are doing, same as me, like you have to log out and log in with root and do run this command. So I will go to the group file, not group file, to passwd, sorry. Okay, and I will go to penguin and I will just add one here. So the next time I log in, my username, my password will be the same. To just be in safe side, don't forget to use chown -r, and you do like that, and you write here penguin, and you do it to, yeah, here the home is /export, not /home, not like Linux, okay? And you do that using root. So all the files, all the folders, including your penguin home folder, okay, will the owner, the group will be penguin, your username. So don't forget to do that. We can do that right now, okay? So when we do ls to export home penguin, we can see that, yeah, because this is Unix, not Linux, not smart enough. No, it's just a joke. uh let's do penguin here. Okay, so it's all owned by penguin. So let's say you want to add a new user to your system. You use user add. Okay, before we adding the user, if you want to know the default for user add -d capital, it will show you the default that will be assigned to the user. Okay, so -m -d for d, and then I will write the path for the home folder for the new user. I will call it user1, and the -m to create the folder if it is not exist, and -s, okay, for usr bin bash for the shell, and lastly for the user name. Unfortunately, again, here it will create the user with the user ID, but by default it will assign the group to staff. So before doing that, I can run group add dash g user one. Sorry, I will do 102, and the name user one, and I will add more argument here dash g user one. So the main group for that user will be user one. First, I will create the group and then I will add the user. And we press enter, and now the group will be created and then the username will be created. If I do ls to export home, we will find the user is already created. If I do id user one, I will see the user ID. So how did I know? Because when you are on Unix, when you create a new user, the first ID will be taken for the user is the first one after like a sequence. Okay, so I know the last one we created is my username is 101. So by default, the system will take the second one. Here, when I'm creating the group, if I gave a different number, okay, so the different number will be here, but here will be 102 unless you specify the user ID you want in the command line. And let's do user add that dash help and here is the dash u. You can specify it here. Okay, so after creating the user, you need to give it a password. Pass wd and the name of the username. You press enter and give it a password, and hopefully it's a strong password. Okay, so let's say this user, I wanted to use ZSH, the default shell for this user. Okay, so let's see where is ZSH full path. So this full path usr bin ZSH, and I will use user mode. Okay, dash s, and the path of the shell, and lastly the name, the username. Okay, and I hit enter. So when we go and check pass wd, and for the user now the default is zsh for that user. Let's say this user is not exist anymore, or you are in a company, or this user should not use the system anymore. So we have the command user del to know all the arguments. You can do dash dash help, press, yeah, valid syntax again. Okay, let's do manual. So it seems only dash r if you did it, yeah. So all we can do, use del and the name of the user. If I hit enter, only the username will be deleted from pass wd, from shadow. Okay, the group will be left. Okay, and the home folder would be left. So it is better to do dash r to remove his folder if no need for the files anymore, or you already backed it up. So safely you can use the dash r and press enter. I just said that the group will be left. Maybe I'm not sure about it, so let's check it. And we go down. Yeah, so the group will be left. So also be careful about that. Maybe this group has other users assigned. Why? Because this is the default of the operating system, that when you create a new user, the main group, the GID for the user, it will be in staff unless you change that. So we change it by creating a new group, so the OS will not delete it automatically. Not the same like on Linux, because the default framework for this on the Linux, in Linux kernel, that when you create a user, it creates a group. Okay, so when you remove the user, it will remove its group also with the user. So keep these points in mind. Okay, so let's move forward. OpenIndiana uses the IPS package manager. IPS, Image Packaging System, is a cross-platform package management system created by the Open Solaris community in coordination with Sun Microsystems. It is used by Solaris 11 and several Illumos-based distributions, including OpenIndiana and OmniOS and others. Okay, so let's start and be root. Okay, so for searching about a package, you use the command pkg, and it looks familiar, same like FreeBSD, because they are all Unix and sharing the same concept but not the same kernel source code lines. So package search, let's say new fetch. Okay, so I hope it will not take time. Yeah, so now I want to here base name file new fetch, and it comes from application new fetch. Okay, so let's make it simple here, and I will just to install it, I will say install and press enter. Why the installation running? uh let's do something here. ZFS list, here the file system, and this add list. So I will talk about it once the installation finish, but see here, this is your boot environment. It's like the first created snapshot. It's the same like the snapper on OpenSUSE. So now it seems like refreshing the repository. So let's finish. So now it is downloading the package and installing it. So let's check here. Still okay. So now the installation finished. So nothing changed here. So the package we installed, it doesn't affect our boot environment. So if it is something like a kernel upgrade or mini software upgrade, it will create a boot here. So let's do update for our system, package update, and we press enter. And of course, new fetch is installed. I will leave this terminal. I will open a third one. So let's run new fetch to see the output. Okay. As we can see, we have like 657. Okay, let's leave it to finish the update. So let's check our boot environment. Yeah, so this is a lot to be downloaded. So not yet, but the space changed, the use space. And this is a huge number of files. So 663. So I will pause and we will back when it's finished, the update. So now the installation and the update finished, and we can see here this is a message. A clone of OpenIndiana exists, and on the next boot, this boot environment will be mounted on root, reboot when ready to switch to the update. Okay, so let's check the new do list add list, and for this command also you can run help if you want to see all the argument for that. Okay, let's reboot it and activate to give a chance for the new boot environment after the update, and we will continue. Let's log in. um, so let's fire up our terminal. Okay, let's expand this a little bit. So to finish this section of software management, let's get root. So the other thing, if you want to, okay, if you want to list all the installed packages on your system, you can do package list, and maybe you pipe it to less, and you will get all the packages installed. Let's say you want to get some info about the package installed, package info, and let's check this one, the new fetch we installed. Okay, let's say you want to list all the packages installed on your system with an info. You can just run package info and you pipe it to list to control the output. And here we go, you can see all the packages with the info of the package installed. Okay, and also if you run package alone or package help, you would maybe would like to check all the options for the package command. Last thing here, uninstall or uninstalling an installed package. So new fetch uninstall, and the package manager here will do its. And now the package getting uninstalled. and here the package not installed. I mean finished uninstallation. Okay. And also one more thing, you might be interested that htop is already exists in the repository of OpenIndiana. You maybe like to install that for good looking listing process. Let's move forward. Monitoring system performance is critical. OpenIndiana provides several tools, and also these tools apply on Solaris operating system. You can use PRStat to get a real-time overview of processes and their resource usage. PRStat, it looks similar to top, okay, and you can run it with -a to get more information, okay. For disk activity, you may try IOStat, and you can add arguments like that. So every 5 seconds, show me the output. To learn about -xc and okay, N for the naming to show the disks in this way of name. Because if we remove the N, no disk name or no device name. Okay, so you may run man IO state to learn about the command and the arguments that you can use with the command. Okay, so the other command to use to view system-wide CPU, memory, and kernel activity, you may use vmstat. Okay, and if you run it like that, it will show only one output. You can add two, so every 2 seconds it will show you an output. Okay. Networking on OpenIndiana system, operating system, uh, it done by network automagic configuration. During the installation, if you did the same as we do, like next, and you left that default, so in that case, you have three options for network to configure networking on OpenIndiana: automatic, manual, like static IP, and none. During the installation using the GUI live CD, okay, you can change in the network configuration from the graphical interface for network configuration, this one, and here I will enter the password just to show it, and you can see it is a straightforward GUI interface app for the network, and it is uses by default the, let's switch here for root, the network automagic configuration. So this command, if I press two tabs, you will see that there is this command adm for administration, and here for configuration to do not manual configuration, to use the command line configuration to change what you see on the GUI. Same command, the same GUI that I open here, you can open it with this command. Okay. So now you you don't have to do anything to configure your network. Like by default, OpenIndiana had this service, network auto magic. Whatever Ethernet or Wi-Fi, it will auto configure this device using, of course, DHCP. Okay, so let's say you want to do a manual configuration. Like for an example, we know that there is this command dladd to show the devices on your system if they are up or down, okay, and to show the IP configuration for the existing network devices on your system, you run IP add list. Sorry, IP add, and you just press enter. Okay. So it will show you the IP configuration of the devices on your system. So let's say you want to go manual and old school to configure your network to have full control or your configuration of your OS network. In that case, you need to disable the service related to this, to network auto magic. To list all the services on your system, you use this command svcs and -a for listing all services, and I will grep physical, and you can see here you have two services, this one and this one. To go manual, you need to disable this first, and after that you enable this service. To enable a service is VC add and enable and the name of the service. So here need to disable, okay, and the name of the service. After you disable this one, you need to enable this service and you replace disable with enable. The network subject on Solaris based operating system, it's quite it will need more time. The video time will be long. So you guys, if you are interested about this subject, please leave a comment and I will see if I have enough comments. I will try to find the time to create a specific video about a network configuration on OpenIndiana, and you can apply the same on a Solaris based operating system. So let's move forward. Open Indiana using the powerful ZFS file system by default. Uh, Before we start diving in ZFS, using ZFS on Open Indiana, let's mention this command format. This one will list the devices or the disks on your system to manage your disks if you want to format them in an old-fashioned way. Okay, so usually the first one, the one with 0 ID, is for root or where the operating system installed. The second one, the one I added to work with ZFS. Okay, to show the mount points on your system, df space dash h, to list the existing file system ZFS on your system is ZFS space list, and Z pool status will show you the list of the Z pools with the disks containing on that system. So here now I know that R pool is where the operating system installed and using root. So this is the ID of the hard disk where the installation. So I can go and run format again to confirm that, which is C5D0. So this one, okay, I cannot touch it because this is where the system installed. So instead we use this one, C1D0. Okay, so to create, uh, we have to create a pool first. Okay, create, and I will name it here my pool. Okay, here on Solaris based operating system for ZFS, you have to give the full pass, and here DSK and C1D0, and we press enter and we wait for the creation of the Z pool. So after the creation finished, you run Z pool list. Now we have two pools on our system. If you run the pool status, and we can specify the name of the pool. Okay, so now we have the pool created, no errors. So let's create some file system, create the name of the pool, and I will name it here my files. Okay, and then I can specify a quota for that. Quota equal 10G, and my pool, my files. Okay, and yeah, here in that case I don't need e dash o. So when I do ZFS list, okay, I have, where is it? Yeah, my files here has been created with available size 10G. Okay, also you can make ZFS snapshot, and you have to enter the pool name and my files, add snapshot, the name of the snapshot that it will be created. Okay, and in case you want to roll back if something happened, like a file got deleted or a corrupted file. So you can roll back to a working state of the file system by running this command ZFS rollback and the snapshot that you took before. Also, you may create um, like in one command instead of doing it on two commands. Create dash o kuta equal 5g and the name of the pool, and this time I will name it my docs. And when we do ZFS list, we can see now we have one with 5g and one with 10g. Okay. NFS allows OpenIndiana to share files over a network. So for an example, to share a directory via NFS, all you need to do is to svc add enable network NFS slash server to enable the service. So once the service is enabled, okay, you may directly go and share what you want to share. So here, for an example, the file system will be NFS for options read write, and in my case, I will share my home folder on the network. Okay, and you can do like a refresh to the service. Refresh. Okay, and if I do show mount dash e, it will show me what's shared on the server. So because I didn't specify any IP, here my home folder will be shared to everyone. Okay, so where these configuration reside, what we did here is like a share on the fly. Okay, it is not, it will not survive reboot. So these files configuration is reside under etcdfc. Okay, so the on the fly share here will be saved in share tab. Okay, so let's say you want your share to be to survive reboot and to be saved. So you should put your configuration directly in this file. Okay, sorry. Okay, and also this file gives you short information about how to share. So in this file, all you need to do without like the same structure here, and you can go through the manuals. It's straightforward to use NFS on OpenIndiana or Solaris based. Nothing too much to do, and you can merge it with or using with ZFS capability to share file system on the network. Services management in OpenIndiana is handled by the Service Management Facility, SMF, which ensures that system services are efficiently managed and monitored. So as we showed before, to list all the services on your system, you can run this command and to control the long list output. So here you can see. So online, the service is running correctly. Offline, the service is stopped. Maintenance, the service encountered an issue and needs attention. Okay. So as we showed before, let's say you want to enable a service, you use svc add and enable. Okay. Let's say you want to know all the options for svc add, you can just run dash dash help. Okay. So to enable a service like for NFS, as we showed before, network NFS server, it's already, we did enable to it. So you done with it, you want to disable it, instead of enable, you run disable, and you can check the service status with svcs. It will show you now it is disabled. So in case here you see there is some kind of, instead of disable you see maintenance, you can run svc add. Okay, and do like a first step troubleshoot clear. You can take the full pass or you can take starting from here and you give the service in case is not in maintenance or degraded state. Okay, we understand that. So just in case. To view detailed information about the service, you can use this command ZFS-L and you give the name of the service. It will give you a full information about it, like dependency, if it is enabled or not, the name of the service, uh, like full information about the service itself. For troubleshooting, you can check logs with the SVCS and -XV. It's the same like journal control on Linux. We have no issues on our system. And that's a wrap on our introduction to OpenIndiana Hipster. We have covered its history and its Solaris-inspired roots, installation, essential administration tasks, from managing user accounts, software, and networking to ZFS and service management. This OS is a hidden gem in the Unix world. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth tutorials. See you in the next video, and thanks for watching.